Happy New Year, Bitcoin fam, and welcome to the #1 daily Bitcoin pod. Happy 2025. Big year amongst us. In today's show, I'll be breaking down the latest Bitcoin technical analysis. We had the yearly close at 93,381, but we're just warming up. We'll also be discussing breaking news as well. Hong Kong listed company Yuxing buys 78 Bitcoin for $6.3 million, as well as a proposal mandating the Swiss National Bank to hold Bitcoin is now underway. We'll also be discussing if Trump adopts Bitcoin, expect Japan and other nations to follow, according to the Meta Planet CEO. We'll also be discussing here's the catalyst that can ignite a Bitcoin explosion to 500,000, according to macro guru Luke Groman. And speaking of bullish predictions, Samson Mow shares 10 Bitcoin predictions for the new year, including Bitcoin smashing $1 million in 2025. We'll also be taking a look at the overall crypto market. All this, plus so much more, in today's show. But anyways, let's kick the show off. If you're new to the channel, important to smash the likes, then subscribe and hit that sexy bell icon. Turn on all notifications to receive daily premium crypto news alerts every single day, 7 days a week, including on New Year's Day, just like this. Today is pod episode 1865. I'm your host, JV. It's January 1st, 2025. It just feels amazing to say we're in 2025. So that's what's up. But anyways, let's kick off the stream. Bitcoin's pumping back in the green, right above 94.5, up 5 hundo on the day. And checking out Coin 360, XRP is a big gainer, up 10%. XLM, major gainer, up 28%. And we also have BNB, Tron, and Cardano pumping and in the green. And checking out coinmarketcap.com. The current crypto market cap sits at $3.32 trillion. The Bitcoin market cap, $1.872 trillion. And we have 83 billion worth of volume for the past 24 hours of the Bitcoin. Dominance is currently measured at 56.4%, with the Ether dominance at 12.2%. Checking out top 100 crypto gainers past 24 hours, XLM, FTM, and IOTA. Let me know which alts have any bullish on for the bull. Holla at your boy. And checking out the crypto bubbles, we get a visual perspective. Let's start on the day. And as you can see, bulk of the market back in the green. Zooming out on the month, bloodshed overall wreckage. And zooming out for the year, considering it's the first of the year. And you can see massive gainers across the board. Some of these alts up over 1,000%. And checking out the Crypto Greed and Fear Index today for the first day of the year. We're rated a 66 in greed. Yesterday, 64. Last week, 73. And last month, an 80 in extreme greed. And checking out the time chain calendar, we have 172,657 blocks until the next halving of 2028. We're currently on block number 877,343, and you can currently exchange one fiat monopoly dollar for 1,063 Satoshis. And again, Happy New Year. Bitcoin closed the year at $93,381 onwards and upwards. And also I want to share also breaking news. Hong Kong listed company Yuxing buys 78 Bitcoin for $6.3 million. Now for some historical memories on New Year's Day, dating back to 2014 to today. In 2014, Bitcoin was $772. In 2015, $314. 2016, year of the halving, $434. 2017, year preceding the halving, $1,000. In 2018, 15,000, 2019, 3,700, 2020, 7,193, again, year of the halving, 2021, year after the halving, 29,352, 2022, 47,000, 2023, 16,000, 2024, year of the halving, last year, 1 year from today, 42,000, and as of today, we're above 94 Gs, getting a nice pumpage in the market. So you should be able to see on your screen coming up here. This is TradingView via Coinbase, the largest exchange in the United States. And this is the 1 hour chart. I'll be reading you the targets and what I see. We do have a red target sitting at 110,000, which would take us to price discovery. The current all-time high and the high for all time, including last year, is now 108.3. So as soon as we break 108.3, such as this 110 target, we'll be right back in price discovery. We also have a bear target on the 1 hour sitting at 89 and another super bear target at 84.3. And zooming out from the 1 hour price chart, we'll take a look at the 4 hour. You can see there's a rectangle formation. We do have some bull targets as well in the red, similar to the 1 hour chart. We have the 110,400 target. And we also have the green target sitting at 108.5. And we also have some bear targets at 84.3, 80,008, and 76.5. And zooming out from the 4 hour chart, take a look at the 1 day. The 1 day chart has a lot of action as well, including that target you can see on your screen at 110, which is also on that 4 hour and 1 hour chart. We do have a rising wedge formation overall, and we do have some bottom targets as well, going down to 76.7 as well as 76.2. And zooming out from the daily chart, we'll take a quick look at the weekly. The weekly chart shows us right here, a cup and handle target still in play at 124,000. You're going to notice we had 5 or 6 green weekly consecutive closes before we got the most recent 2 corrective weekly closes, which were really the first 2 corrective weeks since the Trump the Trump election on November 5th. And now 4 days away, Trump enters office. Or correct me if I'm wrong, is it January 20th or is it January 5th? I don't know why I have the 5th in my mind, but I'm starting to think it's the 20th. So let me know which day that is. And I also hear Gary Gensler submitted his resignation and he's stepping down as the chairman of the SEC. I think that date is January 20th. So I'm going to assume Trump takes office January 20th. I must have got the 5th from November, so I was mixing the 2 up. So if you don't know, now you know. And zooming out on the weekly, we'll check out the monthly. You can see the Moonvember candle was the biggest one we have ever had. We just had a very small corrective red candle you can barely see, and we'll see how, January, where it takes us here in Q1. I am extremely bullish, and if you don't know, now you know. Let's discuss the latest with these Bitcoin ETFs. BlackRock's Bitcoin ETF tops rivals in 2024 net inflows. That's right. BlackRock's Spot Bitcoin ETF clocked more than $37 billion of net inflows for 2024, outpacing competitors. According to Farside data, BlackRock's IBIT netted more than 3 times the inflows of runner-up Fidelity, which attracted nearly $12 billion in net inflows that year, according to Farside. And as the world's largest asset manager, BlackRock also led the pack amongst Ether ETFs. The iShares Ether ETF pulled in $3.5 billion of net inflows during 2024, and Fidelity's Ethereum fund again notched second place with $1.5 billion in net inflows. Major difference between Fidelity and BlackRock: Fidelity self-custodies their own biddy. BlackRock uses a custodian by the name of Coinbase. But quoting Farside here, Fidelity is a closer second here, 44% of the BlackRock's total compared to 31% in Bitcoin. Overall, the United States Bitcoin ETF saw more than $35 billion in aggregate net inflows for 2024. That equates to roughly $144 million in net inflows each and every trading day. This figure factors in more than $20 billion of net outflows from the GBTC, which the asset manager launched in 2013, initially as a non-listed trust. Now, Grayscale's GBTC charges a management fee of 2.5%, and in July, the asset manager listed the Grayscale Mini Bitcoin Trust as a cheaper alternative with a management fee of only 0.15%, obviously realizing GBTC was not competitive with a 2.5% annual fee there. But Bitcoin ETFs were listed in the U.S. in January. The official day was January 11th, so it's been less than a year. After a lengthy tussle, you can say that again, with the regulators, the crypto market surged following the Trump victory of the U.S. presidential election, which was November 5th. We've been pumping since, and as many believe, his win will benefit the industry. Clearly. November 21st, U.S. Bitcoin ETFs broke $100 billion in net assets for the first time, according to Bloomberg. Bitcoin dominated the ETF landscape in 2024, accounting for 6 of the top 10 most successful launches of the year, according to Nate Gerasi, president of the ETF Store. And of the approximately 400 new ETFs launched in 2024, the 4 biggest launches by inflows have all been spot Bitcoin ETFs. And also, I remind you that the ETFs overtook the Bitcoin ETF Solo Feathers overtook that of gold, and the gold ETF has been around for 19 years, going on its 20th year. So you already know, family. Couldn't be more bullish on thy Bitcoin right now. Next story of the day. Keep the comments flowing. There's a live and interactive show, and if you don't know, Now you know. Next story, headline reads, proposal mandating the Swiss National Bank to hold Bitcoin now underway. That's right. A proposal to constitutionally mandate the Swiss National Bank to hold Bitcoin on its balance sheet was set in motion by the Swiss Federal Chancellery on December 31st. Interesting. The proposal must accumulate 100,000 signatures for it to be put to public referendum. And shout out to Bring Facts. Greatly appreciate that super. He wrote, I'm driving and I still hit the like button. What's your excuse? Thank you for the doobie-doe, brother. Always a pleasure. Happy New Year. Safe traveling. So yeah, according to Tether's vice president of energy and mining, what's that name? Giwi. I don't know how to say that. But anyways, he helped launch the proposal, founder and chairman of the Swiss Bitcoin nonprofit think tank 2B4CH, and 8 other Bitcoin advocates. The think tank, 2B4CH, has been preparing to submit documents to the Chancellery since at least April to renew attempts at a successful proposal after it postponed its first filing in October of 2021, when the idea of a nation state strategically holding Bitcoin was not as common. Quoting him here, we are waiting for the right timing. Now everything is falling into place. And this is why we submitted the documents and will start collecting the signatures. The Bitcoin proposal for a financially sound, sovereign, and responsible Switzerland was officially submitted December 5th and was officially registered with the Switzerland Federal Gazette December 31st. It specifically proposes Article 99, Paragraph 3 of the Swiss Federal Constitution to be amended to, the National Bank builds up sufficient monetary reserves from its own earnings. Part of these reserves are made up of gold and Bitcoin. And achieving this constitutional amendment has been the primary mission of the 2B4CH. The Bitcoin advocates must now accumulate 100,000 signatures by June 30th of 2026, around 18 months from today's date. Switzerland boasts a population of almost 9 million, meaning about 1% of the locals must sign the petition. Do you think they'll get 100,000 signatures, fam? Let me know. I mean, they have 18 months to make it happen. Bitcoin is already widely adopted in the Italian-speaking city of Lugano, where the Plan B Bitcoin conference is hosted each year. 260 merchants now accept Bitcoin in the southern city, populated with 63,000 residents. Last month, SMB's chair, Martin, reportedly expressed concern over Bitcoin's use as a payment and a huge amount of energy used to secure the network. Fudster. The United States is the most notable country considering adopting Bitcoin, but unlike Switzerland, the Treasury would hold it should Senator Lummis sponsored Bitcoin reserve bill pass. Let me know if you feel that will pass and Trump will sign it. Politicians in Brazil, meanwhile, and Poland are also considering the idea of establishing a Bitcoin reserve. We call this the global hash war, which Max Kaiser coined many years back. Let's now discuss the Trumpster. All eyes on Trump this year. If Trump adopts Bitcoin, expect Japan and others to follow, according to the Metaplanet CEO. That's right, Sailor's high-profile New Year's Eve Bitcoin party in Miami. President and CEO of Metaplanet, often dubbed the Japan's MicroStrategy, shared his insights on the evolving landscape of Bitcoin adoption among governments and corporations. In an interview, he outlined the potential global implications if the incoming U.S. President Trump moves forward with the establishing of a strategic Bitcoin reserve. So that's the million-dollar question, fam. Let me know if you think Trump will follow through with the plans. He emphasized the gradual yet persistent integration of Bitcoin into the high-level governmental discussions and corporate strategies worldwide, slowly but surely seeing Bitcoin becoming a topic of discussion at the highest levels of government, corporations around the world beginning to adopt it as a Bitcoin standard, he stated. He further elaborated on Metaplanet's strategic pivot towards Bitcoin, noting, in April, for us, that's when we decided we wanted to adopt Bitcoin, and now all we want to do is accumulate more Bitcoin over time for our shareholders. And so 2024 will go down as the year where it all began. Bitcoin 2024, Year of the Dragon. In addressing the potential influence of the Trump policies on the global adoption, he expressed confidence in the president-elect's commitment. He said here, I do think that the Bitcoin community in the U.S. helped elect the president. Agreed. There's 100 million plus Bitcoiners. Trump's not stupid. And so hopefully President Trump will do what he said that he will, which is to make Bitcoin a strategic reserve, he affirmed. He also posited such a move by the U.S. would likely set a precedent, leading other nations to follow suit 100%. And then the countries around the world will follow. I agree. That's if Trump follows through. Focusing on Japan's role In this anticipated shift, he highlighted the nation's tendency to emulate the U.S. policies. Japan is one of those countries where they do look to the U.S. as a sort of their big brother and follow in their footsteps. So I think if President Trump does adopt it as a strategic reserve, then Japan and many other countries in Asia will likely do the same. He further speculated on the broader Asian and developing world implications, suggesting that the Bitcoin adoption can serve as a means for these countries to bolster their currencies. Quoting him here, in a way, it's sort of like we're going to see the game theory play out in full circle. I think a lot of the third world countries in particular that see, perhaps adopting Bitcoin will be a way to show up currencies. It is going to be interesting. And reflecting on the recent discussions from the Bitcoin conference in Abu Dhabi, he shared, we got to hear from a lot of the governments in the region. And I think it is definitely something that is a topic, and they are secretly buying kind of behind the scenes. And hopefully they will announce it quite soon. He anticipates that following a strategic reserve declaration by Trump, other nations will publicly acknowledge their Bitcoin holdings. And after Trump announces the strategic reserve, I think a lot of the countries will say, actually, we own Bitcoin as well. You damn straight. Let me know if you agree or disagree, and let me know. Again, my target, 1.1 million in play if Trump embraces thy biddy and doesn't go full shit coinery like some are anticipating. And 420, base case, if our POTUS doesn't follow through with a lot of the promises. But anyways, next story of the day, we got two more stories. These are both going to be bull targets. Welcome everyone to the stream. We just smashed over 1,000 people on the live stream. We're live on X, Rumble, and YouTube. If you guys can repost the stream, I appreciate it. Next headline reads, here's the catalyst that can ignite the Bitcoin explosion of 500,000 per coin. According to the macro guru, Luke Groman. That's right. Investor Luke believes that the winds are shifting in the U.S., creating conditions that can boost Bitcoin to price levels never seen before. In a new interview on Julia LaRoche show, the macro guru says he has a very high conviction that the policymakers in the U.S. will weaken the dollar this year in an effort to rebuild the country's defense industrial base. Last month, Groman said that the U.S. realized it was facing a national security crisis after being defeated by Russia in the Ukraine. The investor noted the Department of Defense is now willing to debase the dollar to revive America's ability to manufacture armaments. Now Groman says he sees policymakers turning the money printers back on in a huge way to pay for the labor and materials required to revitalize the defense industry. Quoting him here, ultimately that goes right back to, hey, we need to stop XYZ components, China, Vietnam, Mexico, whatever. We are going to bring it back here. We need to spend $100 million. We don't have the labor. Who cares? Print it. The labor is going to go up. We don't care. We have a printing press. Print it. Well, we're short the steel. Don't care. Print it. They'll just print the money. Pretty little money printer continue to go sending pretty little bitty to the rocket ship to the moon. Groman says he expects the newly printed dollars to find their way into Bitcoin and other risk assets. Quoting him here, they're going to pay to get it done, and they're not going to let the bond market's yields rise to try to stop it. And so ultimately, that cash is going to flow into equities, into Bitcoin, into gold. The macro guru says Bitcoin will emerge as the biggest winner should the government print more money. Precisely right. So Bitcoin is a hedge against the money printer, and they're guaranteed to continue to print the money. They have to. The S&P will probably double. Bitcoin will probably be, 5x. Gold will probably be 2, 3, 4x. So there you have it, crypto bros. Let me know if you guys agree, disagree with the macro guru. I mean, a modest 5x, that puts it right in alignment with my base case of 420. Reminder, my bull scenario is a 1.1 million, and Max Kaiser's 1.1 million plus 1.1 million. That's an 1111, 2.2 million in play. Rocking the 11, the Hawks jersey, not to get it mixed up with the Hawk Tua, but sometimes you just got to spit on that thing. Now for our feature story of the day. Bitcoin hit $1 million in 2025, according to Jan 3's Samson Mow. In fact, he makes 10 bold predictions we're going to be covering right now. First and foremost, massive shout out to Samson Mow of Jan 3, a great influencer and OG in the Bitcoin space. We like to follow very closely here on the pod. But anyways, as you can see, Headline reads, Bitcoin hit $1 million in 2025, but there is a catch. So here we have Samson Mow, vocal Bitcoin supporter and CEO at the Bitcoin adoption focused company Jan3. And some of you may ask, what's the significance of that particular date? That's the date of the Genesis block when it went live. It was January 3rd, hence the company. Now, he published a tweet sharing his big Bitcoin-themed predictions for the just-arrived new year of 2025. And of course, he touched on the subject of the Bitcoin price action, expecting a mammoth surge. Proponent Bitcoin supporter Samson Mow made 10 important predictions for 2025, starting with one that says the world's leading crypto, BTC, will finally skyrocket to $1 million per coin this year. Let me know if you agree or disagree with Samson. Another important one was the 3 more nation states implement a Bitcoin strategy, and one of those will be in Asia, maybe Japan. Following the example of El Salvador, Mow did not name any particular countries. He expects them to adopt Bitcoin strategies using the services of his Jan3 company, which helps with that. And in this regard, one of the predictions stated that Jan3 would engage 10 more new countries in adopting Bitcoin. Hallelujah. It was not only about the Bitcoin price surge that Mow spoke about in the tweet. He also shared a prediction that in 2025, MicroStrategy stock would surge to $2,000 per share, adding that Tether's popular USDT stablecoin would flip Ethereum in terms of market cap, and that Europe would reverse its crypto regulation course completely. So let's go to the actual tweet which started it right here. He posted it last night, 11:02 p.m., December 31st, New Year's Eve. It got 56,000 views. I'm going to read it to you verbatim. Samson's predictions for 2025. Cheers. Number 1, $1 million Bitcoin. Number 2, the Omega candle. And if you're not familiar with the Omega, it's a $100,000 price appreciation on the daily chart in a single day. Send it. Number 3, strategic Bitcoin reserve is created in the United States of America. That means Trump following through with some of his promises. Bullish. 4, Jan3 engages 10 more countries for adopting the BIDI. 5, 3 more nation states implement the Bitcoin strategy, 1 in Asia. Which Asian country will it be? Let me know. And at least 1 country launches Bitcoin bonds. Next, Aqua Bitcoin, which is a Lightning wallet, onboards millions to financial freedom. MicroStrategy achieves $2,000. Tether USDT flippins Ether. And Europe reverses course drastically. I could be wrong, but I will be right. Happy New Year, Bitcoiners. All the best in the coming year. Happy New Year, Samson. So yeah, I'll leave you with that. Now, as you know, MicroStrategy Executive Chair Mikey Saylor, who hosted his 100,000 party in New York last night, summarized that the last quarter of 2024, tweeting that over those 3 months, his company's treasury operations had delivered a Bitcoin yield of roughly 48% in total to the shareholders, which equated to 120,600 BTC. That was the equivalent of a mammoth 11.6 billion at an approximate price of 96,000 per Bitcoin for that quarter, as he announced right here. Shout out to the Giga Chat. And over the past 24 hours, the world's pioneer crypto Bitcoin did plunge, and we are pumping though on the first of the month. So get up, as we're currently above 95 Gs. But let me know your thoughts surrounding some of those predictions from Samson Mow. And I also want to hit you with some words from Trump when he spoke at the Nashville conference a few months back that kind of got this whole Bitcoin craze started, as far as nation state adoption and the United States adopting strategic Bitcoin reserve, making America the Bitcoin mining hub, etc. Here's coming directly from the mouth of the POTUS. Enjoy.
This afternoon, I'm laying out my plan to ensure that the United States will be the crypto capital of the planet and the Bitcoin superpower of the world, and we'll get it done.
We'll get it done, Trump says. You damn straight.
If crypto is going to define the future, I want to be mined, minted, and made in the USA. It's going to be. It's not.
He straight up said it is going to be mined, minted, and made in the USA. Amen. Bitcoin mining hub. Let's go. We got to compete. Russia is establishing a Bitcoin mining hub in Ethiopia. No country left behind.
Going to be made anywhere else. And if Bitcoin is going to the moon, as we say, it's going to the moon, I want America to be the nation that leads the way.
You hear how he put his voice? It's going to the moon.
And that's what's going to happen. I pledge to.
So the question becomes, was Trump saying all this as rhetoric just to get your vote from the Bitcoin community? Or was he saying it because he genuinely has the plan to actually take action and implement everything he's laying out for us right here? That's the $1 million question. That's the difference between 420,000 cycle peak or 1.1 million or 2.2 million.
The Bitcoin community that the day I take the oath of office, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris's anti-crypto crusade will be over. It will end. It'll be done. It'll be done.
He ultimately just said, Biden's war on crypto, sayonara, try tomorrow. Nice to know ya.
On day one, I will fire Gary Gensler.
And the crowd erupts. Yeah. That got the biggest standing ovation, I believe, at the conference. He even repeats himself and says it twice. Gary, you're fired. So go home and get your shine box, Gary. Your kind ain't welcome round yonder. I'm paraphrasing.
And appoint a new SEC chairman.
You hear that? There's going to be a new SEC chairman. You're looking at him. Nipsey, Top Dog Nippinator. Top Dog Biddy Sniffer. That's all she wrote. Welcome, everyone, to the live stream. This is the Q&A segment of the pod. It's good to be here. Happy New Year, family.